Welcome back to this series on resilience. And in this section, we're going to talk about values and how they can serve you when you get even more clear. There's a basics about values that I certainly wasn't taught as a kid, and that they're the key to either our happiness, we call it fulfillment, or unhappiness. And so we're going to get clear, more clear, about what values are by giving you a methodology of getting them out, writing them out, seeing what they are. There are personal values, and then ideally, you're a pretty good match with your company's values. And how well you're aligned, or how much of a gap there is, really will determine how happy you are in your job. And therefore, happier, more resilient, less happy, less resilient. So first off, I want to say that a value is an inner quality. It's not a thing, it's not tangible. So when you write your list in just a little while, I'll give you those instructions in what's called a values clarification. They're going to be qualities and traits. Things serve to fulfill values. Money isn't a value, but you can buy your way into having your value achieved. For instance, if you love and value travel, then you can use money to buy a plane ticket or a train or buy a car. So money is useful, things are useful towards achieving a value. Values clarification is something I never experienced until a few years ago, and once I did, I see the world through my values now much more clearly. You know when you're on course and when you're off. So here are the instructions for you doing your own values clarification. And again, we recognize that writing out seems to work better with the brain and the emotions than keyboarding or just keeping it in your head. So we suggest you take a blank 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and start in that upper left-hand corner. And as the values come out, and they're typically one word, you'll go down the row for a specific reason. And then you come back to the middle and another column. Typically, there are about 25 values in the first run-through for people. And so the way to get your brain working on what are values of mine? A value is something that's important to you. You can simply say, I value, and then start writing. So I value honesty, family, integrity. I value love and caring, and whatever your values are. You could also say what's important to me is, and the same process will happen. Now, eventually your brain runs dry. When that happens, you might come back to this video and listen to it and some of the additional prompters I'll give you now. So what else do you value? How do you get at them? You might say, what do I value about my boss? What do I value about my mother or father? One of my favorite siblings. What do I value about my workplace? What do I value about a great leader, past or present? What do I value about a great teacher in my life, someone who meant a lot to me? Take each of these, write until your brain runs dry, and then go for the next one. Ask that next prompter. Now, the last way to get to values, because when your values are achieved, you're happy. Let's not forget that when your values are crushed or stepped on, boom, we're unhappy. So another way of uncovering values in this brainstorm is to say, okay, well, what gets me angry? Well, what do I hate? For instance, I might say I hate war. Well, on the other side of that is my value. It would be peace. What's my greatest pet peeves? People cutting me off, rudeness. Okay, the other side of that is the value, let's say politeness or honoring. So ask yourself what annoys me, frustrates me, angers me, and on the other side of that will be the value that you're looking for. So after you've done all of that, we suggest that you run through, put the check mark next to each of the really important values. We want to get this down to a manageable number. And a third pass would have you go through and perhaps circle the check marks or the value itself so that you come down to only 5. Then put them on a separate piece of paper, usually the opposite side, ranking them, number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can do more, of course, but 5 is a very manageable number. Then the last piece of this is, now that you know your top 5 values, put brackets next to each of them, and above one column put W for work, and on the other column a P for personal. And just think about, let's say your top value is honesty. And you think about your work situation and the people you work with. Are people being honest with you? Are you able to be honest? So on a scale of 1 to 10, you would rate how well is that showing up in your life. 1, it stinks. I'm around liars and people who couldn't be truthful if you pay them $1 million. Or it's perfect, it's a 10, or someplace in between. Do this for work and for your personal life. And so once you get a handle on values and you start looking through your life, what makes you happy or fulfilled and what makes you unhappy, you get to make more choices, because when you're unhappy, your resilience is low, and when you're happy, your resilience is high.